right, good evening. We're going to start the January 16th, 2018 Ocoee City Commission. We'll have the invocation by Commissioner Keller, the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Fershman. Please stand.
Heavenly Father, as we gather here tonight, we ask, as always, a blessing on our meeting. Give us the wisdom to make good decisions for our city. As we go forward, we ask blessings on all of our first responders as they go about their business of keeping us safe. Please keep them safe, Lord. We ask a blessing on all of our citizens and all of our staff for the jobs that they do and for the community as a whole. We also ask a blessing, Lord, on our military. Wherever they are in the world, keep them safe and bring them home to us. We ask all of this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I got a flag.
Hold the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Where did it go?
I will say, I imagine some flags have been used differently.
I guess it probably
It's in the warehouse.
Could they call them all and ask for its return?
Not yet.
Commissioner Grogan?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson?
Present.
Mayor Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Forster?
Here.
Commissioner Keller?
Here.
All right, we've got one presentation, a proclamation for the, I'll read for the Crossing Guards Appreciation Day, February 2nd, 2018. Whereas many children must travel to and from school each day on foot or by bicycle, and whereas the streets and byways are overcrowded with trucks and all manner of motorized vehicles, and whereas the safety of our children is the utmost concern, and whereas we owe a debt of gratitude to our school crossing guards, and whereas these dedicated people stand out in the rain, heat, and cold day after day to ensure the safety and well-being of our children, and whereas day after day as we send our children off to school or as we drive past these dedicated people, we tend to take them for granted, and whereas it is appropriate that Ocoee's school crossing guards, as well as all school crossing guards, be recognized for their dedication and commitment to keeping our children safe. Now therefore, the City Commission of the City of Ocoee does hereby declare February 2nd, 2018 as Crossing Guard Appreciation Day, signed and sealed by the Mayor, Rusty Johnson. Do we have somebody here from the police department to come sit?
And sure, I think we have to go one way
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chief. All right. At this time, we have the comments from citizens or the public, which we have one. If we have any more, let me know. But Mrs. Barbara Martin, 1238 Russell Drive. Give us your name and address.
Right here?
Yeah.
Barbara Martin, 1238 Russell Drive. The reason why I came today is I'm going to kind of read what
It's all right. Take your time.
this is my dad,
Tell them who it is.
Frank W. Turner. Okay. It says, "Good evening. I have lived on Russell Drive since 1991. I moved here in 1967. And I know it's a long shot, but I'm going to ask anyway. I've always been told that if you don't ask, you won't know. First, I will give you some background. My father was Frank Turner. He was a vet. He was a city commissioner from 1970 to 1974. He was a volunteer fireman. He loved the city of Ocoee. He was a proud member of the Ocoee Lions Club, where he was the president. He was also the district governor a couple times. He was a JC's. He coached men's softball. He was a VFW, and he was a vet. He volunteered for the West Orange Girls Clubs. Well, December the 24th in 2007, my father passed away. It's been 10 years, and it's hard. Now for what I'm asking. In honor of my father, I would like to see that the park at the end of my street, which is right now, it's called Russell Drive Park, be changed to F.W. Turner Park. Because I'm not going anywhere, and I have 18 kids, 18 grandkids, 6 children, 1 great. I have a brother named Buddy Elmore. He retired from the city of Ocoee, which y'all probably know him. Jackie Trowell, who still lives here. Now, Buddy's taking care of Mother in Claremont. And I'd like to, when my grandchildren come, I'd like to, when I walk by there, which I walk every day, tell them, this is named after your great-grandpa. It just would be an honor for me. I know back in the days, they used to name the parks and the streets after either city officials or someone that had done something good for the city. My dad loved Ocoee. I love Ocoee. And as Montgomery Gentry says, this is my town.
Yeah.
And I plan to stay here for a long time. So I would appreciate it if you guys would consider renaming that park after my dad. It's not named after anyone. If it had been named after someone, I wouldn't even thought about this. But it's been 10 years, and I think it would be an honor. Thank you.
I'll make a couple comments for Barbara. I was around Frank. Frank and I were together a lot of different things. Lions Club, back in the Lions Club days. Also, when he was a commissioner, I dealt with him a lot. Frank was very active in the town and was an easygoing, great guy. I personally, and I talked to Barbara, and I told her to come up here and ask. I have no problem doing that. That little park is the one we just redid some stuff. And
I love it.
But I think it's a great little neighborhood park, and that, Rob, I don't see there's any problem. I don't have a problem with it. The other commissioners don't.
Yeah, actually,
They never really named that park
yeah,
anything.
Mayor, I don't think we've named anything since I've been here in the last 14 or 15 years. So I think whatever process you all want to go through
So
to consider requests like that
I
would
would
be.
suggest we do that, and if I could get,
Is that a resolution that has to be done, that has to come back
I
to us?
don't know. I think we just have to say we're doing it.
I don't know what the process is.
We'll find out the process.
I think just decide, if you guys decide what you want to do, we'll do whatever.
Is Steve Krug here? Steve in the back, or is Jeff Hayes? What we'll do is, Barbara, we'll find out what we have to do. We'll do it and then tell you when we dedicate it, and then have a dedication
Yeah,
for you
because
and the family. Is that all right?
Mom's 83, and I just think it would be great for her
Yeah.
to see, that. She loved Ocoee too. She's still a member of the Lions Club. She's a lifetime member. Dad was too. And it's just, it's just something.
We'll get the requirements.
This
unless
man-
we got your address and your
Was very dear to me.
yeah. So we'll take care of it.
Okay, well, thank you for
We'll
listening
get
to
a
me.
time and date and set it up for you, and where to work out where you.
Okay.
Is everybody on consensus?
I think once we find out how you do it.
Well, we'll find out. We'll make sure.
Okay, I appreciate
I don't know what,
it.
we did the one there at the park, the Bill Breeze Park, and I can't remember. I know we brought it up and approved it here at the commission. But we'll take care of it. It's gonna
All
get
right.
done.
Thank
Okay?
you.
We'll let you know.
All right, y'all have a wonderful
All right,
day.
thanks, Barbara.
Thank you.
All right, so we need to make sure, Melody, I'll give you this, you can get a hold of her and let her know. All right. Anybody else from the public have any comments pertaining to anything that's not on the agenda? Nobody. All right, we'll move to staff reports.
Mayor, I want to welcome our new finance director. I know she's thrilled that I'm doing this, but Rebecca Roberts in the back there, she's in her second week right now, and she came here from Manatee County School Board. And I know some of you have met her already, but if you haven't, that's
Stand up.
in the back. And
Well, 2 weeks and you're still here. That's a good sign.
She wanted to come up. She wanted to come up and talk at the podium for 20 minutes. I said no. That's okay, but,
A bunch of numbers, probably. Thank you.
that's all I have. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right. Anything else, Rob?
No, sir. That's it.
All right. Commissioners' announcements. Commissioner Keller.
None at this time.
Commissioner Firstner.
No, none at this time.
Commissioner Wilson.
None at this time, thank you.
Commissioner Grogan.
Not at this time.
All right, we have one little item here. We have to appoint to the Metropolitan of Orlando Board, reappoint.
Yeah, they do that at an annual now, so.
You gonna stay on it?
If you all have me, yeah.
All right, does anybody make a motion that,
I'll be happy to make the motion to appoint.
motion made by Commissioner Wilson, Commissioner Keller stays on the Metropolitan Board? You have a
Second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Firstner. No more comments, let's vote. You're back.
Could you bring us back some, Joel, could you bring us back some money so that we can get all those roads done that we want done?
Actually, I'm trying to work on that because they are working on trying to get some money for, they brought up at the last one, I believe, money for the Silver Star. And then they were also talking about money for the old Winter Garden Road extension. Now, they're in the 5-year plans. They're not anything we're going to see this year, but they have been talking about them, so they're getting them. It's moving.
Thank you for promoting Ocoee there.
All right. Consent agenda.
Motion to, go ahead.
Good.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Keller to approve the consent agenda, seconded by Commissioner Wilson. No more comments, let's vote. Consent agenda approved unanimously. All right. Moving on over to the regular agenda, settlement agreement for Colony Plaza demolition. Well, did I skip 8? I might have.
Number 8.
Pages stuck together, sorry about that. First reading of ordinance. First reading of ordinance for inspiration plan and develop PUD annex and rezone into PUD and PUD land use plan. Planner Rumor.
We're just going to read the
You just read
ordinance
it?
tonight as first reading, so we'll just read the title to the ordinances, staff report, and vote on the items at the next meeting. This is the annexation ordinance, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately plus or minus 10.66 acres located south of Florida's Turnpike and west of McGuire Road pursuant to the application submitted by the property owners. Finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, and the Joint Planning Area Agreement. Providing for and authorizing the updating of official city maps. Providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability. Repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for an effective date. And the zoning ordinances, an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County A1 to Ocoee C3 Commercial to Ocoee Planned Unit Development on certain real property containing approximately plus or minus 16.27 acres located south of Florida's Turnpike and on the west side of McGuire Road pursuant to the application submitted by the property owners. Finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
All right, this says the next hearing date is scheduled for February 20th. They're gonna be right. We have a meeting on this.
Correct.
That's correct. That's correct. Correct.
Is that true?
Yeah, the second meeting in February.
All right. All right. Next hearing, the second reading will be on February 20th. All right. Now we'll go to first reading of ordinance, revised language for the official municipal seal of the city and adopting new language for official city logos. Well, nobody told me that.
Well, that's Bolt. Oh.
No, I didn't know what it is.
Yeah, I
When
said-
did that get cleared? Did you pull it?
No, I didn't. No, support services Butler told me.
All right, we'll move on to the regular agenda. Settlement agreement for Colony Plaza demolition lien and other liens.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm here to present to you the proposed settlement agreement for the Cypress Colony, Inc. lien. I'm going to give an abbreviated version of the presentation that I made to the CRA board. So, hotel was developed in 1968. It was a Ramada Inn, and it was actually the first hotel in Orange County to be granted a liquor license on Sundays. It was quite the happening place. 1971, it served as a temporary headquarters for the Disney executives who were working on the opening of Disney World. It operated as a hotel through the mid-1990s. It later changed, the name was changed to the Colony Plaza Hotel. It was sold to a timeshare developer who developed the property and was operated as a timeshare from about 1995 to year 2000. Unfortunately, the timeshare failed, leaving over 500 timeshare owners in limbo with liens on the property, and thus began the problems with the property. In 2001, the city of Ocoee condemned the vacant hotel after malfunctioning sprinklers flooded the property, and the city began a long legal and legislative process that ultimately resulted in the demolition of the property. That took place on the 9th of May, 2009. The city, in November of 2009, filed a lien on the property that was funded by the CRA, for the expenses that were funded by the CRA, which totaled just over $1.1 million for all the expenses that were incurred by the CRA with that property. Interest began accruing after a legislative change at the rate of 18% a year. The city, in 2010, the city created a new master plan for that area, and we defined that area as the 50 McGuire area as CRA Target Area 1, which the design standards were set forth in this book that you've all seen. A settlement agreement with the former owner and actually with the current owner and the city was reached in the year 2011, which among other things required that all the mortgages on the property and the liens with the timeshare owners be settled. The owner began a 4 or 5 year process to settle those liens. The city was approached by an entity named Ocoee Corners, which is part of the Boyd Development Group. They own the corner that is they had a former gas station. It was vacant. They wanted to redevelop the property. They needed to acquire another acre, a quarter of an acre, and they needed a partial release of lien. In 2016, Mr. Boyd and his group agreed to demolish that corner gas station that had become an eyesore. The city began negotiating with Boyd Development and the Cypress Colony owners on a settlement and redevelopment agreement for the entire site, the 3 parcels in that corner. And December 17th, after approximately 18 months of meetings with Mr. Boyd and the Cypress Colony Group, we had our final meeting. This brings us here to tonight. So what you have in front of you is the settlement agreement. Mr. Boyd and his group, they're closing on a loan, and within 60 days, the city CRA will receive the settlement amount of $1.1 million, which is the exact amount of the original lien. And Mr. Boyd and his group have agreed to redevelop the property to be very consistent with a master plan that was set forth back in 2010. And the first phase, which is approximately 14,000 feet of retail, will be completed by December 31st of this year. Redevelopment plan, the redevelopment will be done in several phases. Phase 1 will be these 2 buildings here in the corner, right here, A and B. Those 2 buildings total 14,822 feet. Future phases will develop these properties, and we can potentially see some of the users that we may see are sit-down restaurants, fast casual restaurants, some groceries, bars, brewery, possibly another hotel, light retail, medical and dental, and professional office. That's the CRA. If you look at the block network, the buildings along the roads, and the blocks that were established in the CRA Target Area 1, that's what we're going to see in that corner. The values are going to increase significantly. The 3 parcels currently have an assessed value of approximately $2.5 million. The revenue for this year is $25,000. If the developers are successful and they're able to get good tenants paying rent, we could see that corner, the first two buildings were assessed at $5.8 million, bringing in approximately $58,000 in revenue by 2020. Things go really well by 2023, hopefully sooner. That whole property will be developed with approximately 67,000 square foot of commercial and retail, and we could see that the three parcels assessed at $25 million, and the CRA revenue will jump from the $25,000 it is today to $251,000 projected, and the CRA expires in 2036. Questions? Mr. Boyd and his attorney Jason Williams are here. City staff Craig Chadricks, Mike Rumer, and the city attorney Scott Cookson. We all worked on this. So, any questions?
Anybody?
That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I will say that I'd like to tell Mr. Boyd and his group, thanks for all the patience and time, effort put into this, and I thank staff also. Looking forward to what's going to happen on that corner. So thanks very much. I'm looking forward to the check, too. We appreciate everybody's due diligence in getting this taken care of. Thank you very much. All right, do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
This would be a motion to approve the settlement agreement with the owners defined in the settlement agreement by releasing all city liens, including the demolition lien, with the payment of $1,105,406.21, and permit redevelopment of the property consistent with the attached concept plan and design standards.
Don't forget the 21 cents.
If I didn't include it, the 21 cents.
All right.
Motion to approve.
Do I hear a motion?
Second.
Who made the motion?
Commissioner Grogan.
Commissioner Grogan made the motion, seconded by Commissioner Keller. No more comments. Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thanks very much. Good to go. See you in 60 days. 60. All right. Staff report, staff action.
Nothing further.
Comments from commissioners. Commissioner Grogan.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this up. As we all know, Scott, the past mayor, had passed away. He had a big celebration here at the Lakeshore Center. It was a celebration of life. It was pretty, very nice. It was very moving. A lot of people were there. I would like the commission to consider, he's been here and he touched a lot of people, and I believe that with all the development we have going on in the city, we have water park coming in, we have the boardwalk down in the water. There definitely could be something that we should be naming after him, put a plaque on. As in what, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe we will have them come up with all the different things that we got going on down here, the staff to tell us the different pieces, and we can put a plaque on one of them.
Maybe
It's up for discussion.
All right,
I mean, you know,
can
we
be
want to
looking into
discuss that.
Yeah.
Maybe when they look into how to name a park.
Exactly. Well, that's why I brought it up by name,
Yeah,
so we
All
don't
right.
forget until 6 years from now. But it's just as a discussion for later
As
on,
we
once we
do
figure that out.
all our renovations, we can look at,
Right. We
Thanks
got,
to do.
yeah, okay. That's all I have.
all right, any, Commissioner Wilson.
Yes, just go ahead and like to thank the HRDB along with Joy Wright and Doug Gaines for a wonderful Martin Luther King parade and program at the mall. They did a great job. That board put a lot of time and effort into that. We'd like to thank them for all they did. I think it went very well. Excellent guest speaker. So they did a great job. It also leads me into, at the parade, you get to run into people who you get a chance to get their ear. And we have just been informed by our lobbyists on the 10th of this month that Congresswoman Val Demings has introduced a standalone bill for the zip code legislation for Ocoee. And I did let her know at that point, she was there, that we are very excited about that. And I know that my residents, and I believe that we all have residents that are zip code deprived, but especially mine who are in Rose Hill, how much that means to us. And it doesn't hurt, as I'm finding out the more I'm dealing with other programs, to let these folks' office know how you feel. So residents, it doesn't hurt to call their office, let them know that you are supportive of this, that you live in this congressperson's district, and let them know how much it means to you to have this bill move forward. It brings up another issue too, is that we're very fortunate to have two state legislators right here in our facility. We have our state senator and our state representative. And with the state doing things and having legislation that can affect us and our city, it's very important for us to get their ear. Call their office, let them know if there's something that you don't like that's happening. It's legislative session right now, and they're making some decisions that will affect us and our city, and that's we like to call that home rule, but that's kind of a hard way to describe it, but it's things that they're going to do to affect us. And it's a good time to go ahead and call these folks and tell them how you feel. If something that you see is coming up in legislation that's important to you, please call them. And again, by having them right here in our city, right here in our building, they're very close and easy to talk to. So don't be intimidated. Please, just call them, tell them what you think, and let them know how you feel about particular bills or things that are happening in the legislature coming up now, because it is going to affect you in this city. And please let Congressman Demings know how you feel, because that's a very important issue with our zip code. Thank you.
Commissioner First.
The deadline for the community grant applications is January 31st, so if you're interested in that, please get them in. The fire department will be welcoming their 12 new firefighters that we obtained from the SAFER grant on January 25th at 6 p.m. at the Lakeshore Center. So if you can, come out and welcome them to our city. Also, the grand opening for Innovation Montessori School at 1644 North Lakewood will be this Saturday, January 20th, from 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. So come out and take a look at the new charter school in town. Thank you.
Commissioner
Yep.
Kelly.
Yeah, a couple things. Yes, I did see Congresswoman Monday and Saturday, and both times I thanked her very much for putting that bill in. So it really is good. I've already got it on my alert, so I can make sure that I can follow it through its path through committees and through the House and Senate. And it does match the bill from the Senate, so that does have a companion bill, which makes it even a better chance of passing. So that's good stuff. I did have one other. I got an email, and I think maybe everybody got it on the board about the park at Hackney Prairie becoming a semi-dog park. It seems that a lot of people have taken it upon themselves to just sort of leave the dogs off the leash, and it's creating some problems where the dogs are starting to have issues with each other, and they're just afraid some of the people with the kids running and everything in the park that somebody might get bit or something. So one of the things they're asking us to do is to put the control on that, so that we put up some signs to say that the dogs must be leashed. So I know that isn't a dog park, and we probably do need one in the city. I know at one point there was plans of putting it at the Montgomery Park. That, I believe, has since changed. I don't know, has it, or?
We never did plan it.
Yeah, well, there had been a talk about it, but.
It's proposed, but
Yeah,
it never.
and then there was the one that seemed to be more proposed, but we're waiting on the Bald Eagle, if I remember right, was the park over by the software, the women's software. Because in that park, I think at one point there was a plan to have a dog park on the northern section, I believe, of that. So something that probably in the city we do need. But in the meantime, though, this isn't supposed to be a dog park. This is for basketball and for volleyball and things like that. So I think it would probably help if we could put some signs out there to remind people that the dogs must be leashed in that park, that it's not a dog park. And that's coming from the dog owner, folks.
I do believe it.
You know.
think we have a sign there that says that.
Yeah, I believe Parks and Rec is working on that already, to make sure it's posted and put some new signs up.
All right, thank you.
All right, the one issue is, did we ever find Steve Krug in the back? Is he back there? Or I want to talk to Rob or somebody. I want to see if we can send a letter to the county about Fuller's Crossroad, about having our part of the money. We have our money together. I think we have $300-something to put towards that intersection improvement. Any way we can send a letter to the
Yeah,
county?
I think if we were going to put that in writing, Mary, probably would get a consensus from everyone.
Yeah.
Mike
That's why I
Rumor's
bring
still
it
here.
up.
I don't know if those funds that that we had put in the account for Chevron were strictly attributable to
But we have some
that
from the
intersection.
church, too.
Yeah, and Mike, perhaps you can answer that question. Were those funds designated for those specific road improvements?
Yes,
in
the
Fuller's Crossing?
$250 mitigation from Eagle Creek was
Okay.
dedicated. $34,000 and some change from Arbors was dedicated to that, and then there's another 14 for Glad Tidings Church when they do another improvement.
Okay, so I think if it's a consensus of the commission that we could use those funds to get into some type of joint project with the county, we could certainly go ahead and send that letter to the appropriate people at the
What
county.
I'd like to do is send a letter to the chairman and to the commissioner for that district
Okay.
from the city to state that we'd like to proceed with what we can to do the improvements to that intersection. So,
It's a bad intersection.
is that okay with consensus with
Oh,
everybody?
Yes.
yeah. We've done a lot of speaking with the commission.
Yeah.
On that.
I'm sure the district commissioner knows
You
about
know,
it. I've spoken
yeah,
to him
I think
personally,
We
but
elevate that with a letter.
perhaps we should put it in
That'd be
writing
great.
at this
Yeah.
point.
All right. If there's no more comments from anybody in the public, any comments? If not, Commissioner Over.